friends, welcome to class of Transportation Engineering. In this lecture, we will move on to the next chapter, that is curve resistance and the setback distances. Okay. Before that, we will have a look on where are we in our syllabus. Okay. So we have already covered these two chapters: highway development and planning, the highway alignment and surveys. Out of the highway geometry design, we have covered the basic elements, we have covered the gradients, we have also covered the SSD, OSD, we also covered the horizontal curves, extra widening and the horizontal curves we have both discussed. We have also taken new vehicles based on all these chapters, and in this lecture we will be moving on to highway geometry design, the setback distances and the curve resistance. Okay guys, so let us discuss what is curve resistance. So what is curve resistance? It is loss of engine power or the tractive force over horizontal curve. Okay, it is loss of engine power over horizontal curve. So what happens? Uh, we will discuss the scenario of a vehicle that is moving on a straight road and on a horizontal curve. Okay, on curved road. So you see, suppose this is a vehicle. This is the front axle and this is the rear axle. These are the wheels. Okay, and whenever the vehicle is rear axle driven, that is the engine is connected to the rear axle. Okay, at the time when the road is straight, that means the engine, the direction of push of this engine is this one. Okay, and the vehicle's motion is also this one on the straight road. I am discussing on the straight road. Here I'll write on straight road. Straight road. Okay, okay, so the direction of motion, this is the direction of motion, and in this case this is P, which is the direction of engine power, engine power direction. Okay, now when the same vehicle, since the direction of the motion is same as the engine power's direction, the whatever the power is generated by the engine is being used by the vehicle to move front. Okay, but in case of the horizontal curve, in case of the horizontal curves, when the same vehicle is moving on the horizontal curve, then what happens is that direction of engine power is this one, but the vehicle is turning to some side. Okay, taking turn by angle theta. Okay, so this is power P, the engine power P in this direction. Okay, this is the turned axle. Okay, and theta is the angle by which the vehicle turns. So the in direction of the motion, the engine power is P cos theta. In this case, the engine power generated was P, and the power in the direction of the motion was also P. So whatever the power was generated was used up, okay, to for motion of the vehicle. But in this case, power P is generated, and the utilized power P is generated by the engine. Power P is generated by the engine, but the power utilized in direction of motion is P cos theta. So the curve resistance is the loss of this engine power. Okay, cos theta value is between 0 to 1. So the P cos theta value has to be less than or equal to P. Okay, so curve resistance is equal to P minus P cos theta. Okay, P minus P cos theta. You can take this P common. So P in bracket 1 minus cos theta. This is given as the loss of the engine power on the horizontal curves, and that is called as the curve resistance, or it is also known as, and this engine power is also known as tractive force. It is also known as the pulling force, or it is also known as the howling force. Okay, so guys, it is not that all the vehicles have got the engine connected to the rear axle. Okay, it is not that all the vehicles have got engine connected to the rear axle. There are few vehicles where the engine is connected to the front axle, and the vehicles having engine connected to the rear axle are, for example, trucks, or I'll say all the all the heavily loaded vehicles. Okay, all the heavily loaded vehicles. All the heavily loaded vehicles have got their engine connected to the rear axle. Okay, but if you consider the example of cars are the front wheel driven vehicles. Okay, front wheel driven vehicles. So if this is a car, the engine is connected to the front wheel. Okay, front wheel. So even if the car takes turn like this, engine also has to turn. Okay, so in such cases of the front wheel driven vehicles, okay, if this is the direction of motion, this itself is the direction of the power generated by the engine. Okay, so whatever is the direction of the motion, that itself is the direction of the power generated by the engine. That is the reason CR, that is the curve resistance for front wheel driven vehicles is equal to 0. So we have formula, that is curve resistance equal to P minus P cos theta, that is P in bracket 1 minus cos theta. Okay, so in this case, if I'll say that more the turn, that is theta, more is the curve resistance. Agreed? Greater is the value of theta, greater is the curve resistance. Okay, for for straight roads, curve resistance equal to 0. For straight roads, curve resistance is equal to 0 because theta equal to 0. And when theta equal to 0, cos 0 1 and P1 minus 1 equal to 0. Therefore, for straight roads, curve resistance equal to 0. Okay, and when theta equal to 90 degrees, curve resistance equal to P minus P cos of 90 degrees, which is equal to P minus 0 equal to P. That is, whatever the power is generated by the engine is lost. Okay, so in this case the engine stops. So this is the case in which, see, suppose this is the vehicle, this one is the vehicle like this, and the axle is completely rotated by 90 degrees. Okay, so the vehicle's push is like this, but the motion expected is this one, and which is not possible. The vehicle stops. Even if you take just the components, then you will get that the component value is 0 over here. So the power that is been transferred in this direction by the uh, power transferred in this direction is 0. Okay, so my question to you all is that what is the need of providing the few of the vehicles uh, that are rear wheel driven? Okay, why few vehicles are rear wheel driven, for example trucks, and why there are few vehicles that are front wheel driven, for example the cars? So this is my question. why are few vehicles rear wheel driven and why are there are some vehicles that are front wheel driven. So I'll answer this question. According to physics, pushing is easier than pulling. This is the first principle. That is, according to physics, pushing is easier than pulling. Okay. So the heavily loaded vehicles are connected to the rear axles, which pushes the load. Okay, which pushes the vehicle load. So the trucks and all, they have got very heavy. They are all very heavily loaded. So it is easy to push such loads since it is very much heavy, and that is the reason the engine is connected to the rear axle. Okay, but the SUVs, that is, what is SUV? SUV stands for sports utility vehicles. Sports utility vehicles. Okay, they are connected. Engine is connected to all four wheels. All four wheels. Okay, so it is clear to you all now that curve resistance, this term curve resistance, is applicable only and only to the rear wheel driven vehicles. Okay, and for front wheel driven vehicles the curve resistance is equal to 0. So whenever the curve resistance is given, assume that the vehicle is heavy, the vehicle is heavy rear wheel driven vehicle. Okay, the vehicle is heavy rear wheel driven vehicle. Okay, so now let us take up some numerical examples on this. The first question is that please you try it on yourself, guys. Please try this example on yourself. If the turning angle is 45 degrees, that is theta equal to 45 degrees, what is the ratio of loss of tractive force to the original one? When theta equal to 45 degrees, in question number 1, theta equal to 45 degrees, what is the ratio of loss of tractive force, that is the curve resistance, I'll say, which is given by P in bracket 1 minus cos theta, and the original force is P. So they are asking what is the answer to this. So 1 minus cos 45, whatever the answer comes is the ratio, that is 0.29. Okay, so moving on to question number 2. If the turning angle is 30 degrees, I hope you understood what is the situation over here. In this case, the situation is this is the vehicle. Okay, this is the vehicle, and the turning angle is 45 degrees. The turning angle is 45 degrees, so this angle is 45 degrees, or you can say that this angle is 45 degrees. Okay, so what is the ratio to this? So this stands for P cos theta, P cos 45, and this was P. So P minus P cos theta upon P. If the turning angle is 30 degrees, what is the curve resistance? Again, curve resistance, we have got very simple formula, that CR curve resistance equal to P in bracket 1 minus cos theta, which is equal to P1 minus cos 30. Whatever comes is the answer, that is, it comes out to be 0.13 P. So the curve resistance is so many percentage. So if it is asked in percentage, then 0.13 P upon P into 100, so is equal to 13% is the curve resistance. Okay, so the next question is, if the turning angle is 90 degrees, what is the curve resistance? If the turning angle is 90 degrees, what is the curve resistance? So curve resistance equal to P in bracket 1 minus cos 90. Cos 90 is 0, so P in bracket 1 minus 0 equal to P. So P itself is the curve resistance, that is, the curve resistance is 100%. That is, the loss of power is 100%, and the vehicle cannot move in this case. So understand that curve resistance is the loss of power, and there are only these many types of the examples that can be asked on this particular type. So here we are done with the curve resistance, the theory as well as the numerical examples. Okay, so now we will move on to the setback distances. So let us now discuss the setback distance. Okay, the requirement of highway geometric design, a very stringent requirement, is that a driver should a driver should a driver should see the minimum required side distance throughout his journey. The driver should be able to please write down, be able to see the minimum sight distance throughout the journey. Okay, as we have already discussed that what is the minimum required sight distance. Minimum required sight distance, guys. Minimum required sight distance. Okay, we have already discussed what is minimum required sight distance, but I will just again repeat that minimum required sight distance depends on the type of the road and the situation. Okay, for example, please just to give you an example, make two columns. Okay, make two columns, and in first column write the type of road, and in second column the minimum required sight distance. Minimum required sight distance. Okay, minimum required sight distance. So if the road is single lane road and traffic is one way, then the minimum required sight distance is equal to the SSD. Okay, if the road is single lane road and the traffic is two way, then the minimum required sight distance is equal to ISD, that is intermediate sight distance, which is equal to twice of SSD. Okay, so yes, I hope that you people can recall this. Okay, what is the minimum required sight distance? And if the road is multi-lane road, two or more lanes, one way or two way, that doesn't matter, then the minimum required sight distance is equal to OSD. Okay, so the driver should always be able to see this minimum required sight distance throughout the journey, and that is the very stringent requirement of stringent requirement of highway geometry design. Okay, so this is the requirement. But guys, whenever there is whenever there is curve on the road, then what happens? It's slightly, I'll show it over here. Suppose that there is a curve like this on the road. There is curve like this on the road. Like this is the curve on the road. Maybe it has been followed like this. Somewhere it is, the road is moving ahead. Okay, this way. So what happens is that road has got something in the adjacent. Suppose that there is a building over here. There is building being constructed over here. Such kind of a rectangular building is constructed over here, and the vehicle is moving like this in this way. Vehicle is moving like this. Suppose this is one-way road, and this is the track of the vehicle. Okay, and this is equal to, and suppose that there is an obstruction over here. Okay, here is the obstruction. Then and this distance from here to the obstruction, okay, from this position to this obstruction, the obstacle, the distance is SSD. Okay, SSD, that is the stopping side distance, is the minimum distance required for this vehicle to go and stop over here. If the distance is shorter than SSD, the vehicle cannot go and stop. Okay, but the driver's eyesight cannot traverse this path, right? The driver's eyesight cannot go like this. Light has to travel straight, so the driver's eyesight will be of this kind. Okay, so if driver wants to see this obstruction in order to stop the vehicle before hitting the obstruction, then there should not be anything here that would stop the eyesight, that would stop the driver's sight. Okay, so this building is a problem. So this building is a problem to driver's sight. Okay, So because of this building, the driver cannot see this object, and so that there is threat that the vehicle will go and hit this obstacle. Okay, so this distance, the building should be constructed behind this line. Okay, behind this line. So this distance from the center line, the distance m, is called as the setback distance, so that it is the minimum clearance from center line. It is minimum clearance from center line of the entire road. So since the road that we have considered over here is a single lane road, so from the center line up to this one, this space should be clear one. There should not be any obstruction. Okay, so the minimum clearance from center line of the entire road to the nearest obstruction on the inner side of the curve is called the setback distance. So the obstruction should not be over here, but obstruction can be constructed beyond this place. Okay, beyond this place you can start constructing. So this is the line, and this distance is known as the setback distance, as the name itself is suggests that the setback, the whatever the obstruction is. So as far as setback distances are concerned, there are two major cases. In the first case is that length of the curve, length of the curve is greater than equal to the required side distance. Okay, required minimum side distance. So length of the curve is greater than required minimum required side distance. Please write it down. Case 1 is length of the curve is greater than equal to minimum required side distance. Okay, and the case 2 is that length of the road is less than minimum required side distance. Okay, so we will be discussing these two cases uh, in very details. Okay, so for now consider case 1. So consider the case 1 we will consider now. So where the length of the curve is greater than the required side distance. So the diagram will be of this kind. Here is the curve like this. Okay, and okay, so please draw this diagram, guys. Draw this diagram. It is very important to understand the setback distance. Okay, so this is this distance s is the required side distance, and this distance is the setback distance, and length of the curve is this. Suppose this is the length of the curve. Please draw this diagram. This is the length of the curve. So this is A, this is B point, and this point is D, this point is O, and this is R. Okay, this is also R, and this is alpha by 2, and this one is also alpha by 2. Okay, so this is center line of the road. Okay, center line of the road. What we have drawn is the center line of the road, and if you just consider this geometry, then the setback distance I am writing over here, setback distance m equal to OB minus CO. Okay, so OB is equal to R, and CO, that is, or OB is this distance, OB and minus OC, this distance. So that's set by distance, where OC is R cos of alpha by 2. Okay, so this complete angle is alpha, and half of it is alpha by 2, will be given as R 1 minus cos of alpha by 2. Okay, 1 minus cos of alpha by 2. So in survey, BC equal to M. In survey, we have studied that BC equal to M equal to mid ordinate, or also called as versine. Okay, so we have already discussed such kind of this relationship, R cos of alpha by 2. In survey, it is called as mid ordinate or the versine. Okay, and this is exactly what is set back distance over here, and here the alpha will be given as alpha equal to S by R. That is the arc S upon the radius R. Okay, and so that alpha in degrees will be given as S by R into 180 by pi degree. Okay, S by R into 180 by pi degree. So now let us move on to discuss the next case, that is case 2, where length of the curve is less than the minimum required side distance. So in this case, the diagram will be, curve is like this much is only the curve. Okay, and please draw this diagram. Please draw it carefully. I am not able to draw it properly, but in your notebooks, please draw it properly, guys. It is very important. If you understand this diagram, then you need not mug up any formula. Okay, and this much is the curve, and this is the straight road like this. Okay, this road is straight afterwards beyond this. Okay, so think is that this is center line of the road. Okay, and this is the length of the curve. A, this is point B, and this is point D. Okay, so this one is this, and this is O, and this B. Okay, so this point is C, and the vehicle is somewhere over here. Okay, the vehicle is somewhere over here, and the stopping side distance is this much. From here, suppose this, since I don't have space, I'll draw it here. Stopping side distance is this much. So the stopping side distance, to draw the stopping side distance, will be this distance. Okay, which is greater than the length of the road. Okay, it is greater than the length of the road. So this is the stopping side distance. Okay, guys, which is greater than the length of the road, S, the stopping side distance. Okay, so in this case, see, this is the length of the road, and the minimum required stopping side distance is greater than the length of the road, and there should be no obstruction over here, so that this is the line beyond which we should start uh, constructing any obstacles. So the obstacle will be shown like this. Okay, this is the obstacle or the obstruction or the building or something you can say. So from the center line, the distance will be BC and plus B plus CF. Okay, CF. So in this case, the M equal to, that is the setback distance equal to, setback distance is always given as M. Okay, setback distance M equal to BC plus CF. So just like the case 1, we can easily say that distance BC equal to R minus R cos of alpha by 2. R minus R cos of alpha by 2, just like case 1. So this is R. This radius is R. Up till here it is R. Okay. Up till here it is radius R. So this R minus R cos alpha by 2. This is alpha by 2, and here is also alpha by 2. Okay. So in this case, alpha will be given as, alpha will be equal to L by R. L by R radian. The length of this uh, the curve upon the R, that is arc upon the radius, will be equal to L by R into 180 by pi degrees upon 180 by pi degrees. Okay, so consider triangle, consider triangle, this triangle, consider this triangle. Okay, so from, okay, consider this triangle, say this, here it is T. Okay, and this, draw a perpendicular, draw a perpendicular E. So from triangle TAE, from triangle TAE, we want to find out the distance AE, which will be equal to distance CF. So BC we have already calculated this much, and now we want to calculate the distance AE. We want to calculate the distance CF. CF is equal to AE. CF equal to AE, and here we can say that this angle, this angle is alpha by 2. This angle is alpha by 2. I hope you all got how this angle is alpha by 2. Okay, if not, just go through it again, how this angle is alpha by 2. Just do some similarity of triangles and use those standard laws. You will understand how this angle is alpha by 2. Okay, and if not, then ask me again. So from triangle TAE, CF equal to AE equal to S minus L. So S minus L by 2. So this is length S minus L, which stands for this distance and this distance. Okay, but we want only distance on one side, therefore S minus L by 2. Okay, so what we have got is distance, this distance currently TA, which is S minus L by 2, and if you just multiply it with, if you just take the sine alpha by 2 of S minus L by 2, what you will be left with is AE. Okay, this distance AE. So S minus L by 2 stands for this distance, and sine of alpha by 2 will be distance AE. So the setback distance M as a whole will be given as R minus the radius minus R cos of alpha by 2 plus S minus L by 2 sine of alpha by 2. Okay, sine of alpha by 2. So this is the total setback distance over here, whenever in case 2, whenever the length of the curve is less than the length of the minimum required side distance, and where alpha equal to L by R radian, which is equal to L by R into 180 by pi degrees. Okay, so whenever the road is multi-lane road, whenever the road is multi-lane road, then what will be the change? So we will consider case 1, that is the length of the curve is greater than the minimum required side distance. Okay, so the diagram will be of this kind. Suppose this is a road, this is the road, and this is center line of the road, center line of the road. Please draw it properly, guys. And there are two lanes on this side and two lanes on this side. Okay, two lanes on this side and two lanes on this side. So there will be like this some obstruction, and so minimum setback distance is m over here from the center line road. In this case, what happens is that, please write down that in multi-lane roads, the visibility is problem for the visibility is problem for vehicles that are traveling on center line of inner lane. It is problem for vehicles moving on center line of the inner lane. Okay, center line of the inner lane. However, the setback distance is taken from the setback distance is taken from center line of the entire road, center line of the entire road. Okay, please keep this in mind that the visibility is problem for the vehicles moving on center line of the inner road. However, setback distance is taken from center line of the entire road. So here this one is center line of entire road, and here is the center line of inner lane, center line of inner lane. Okay, no, this is not the center line of the inner lane, these are the two lanes, and the center line of the inner lane will be this one here somewhere. Okay, and let us say that d is the distance, not this much, this much. Okay guys, please draw it carefully. D is the distance between the center line of the entire road and center line of the inner lane. So in our problem, what will be the change is that there will be some change, there will be some additional term of t, and all other uh, geometry will remain, the geometric calculations will remain the same. I'll just elaborate that how the things will change. Okay, so we are considering case 1 we are considering, okay, where length of the curve is greater than the minimum required side distance. So this is, say this is the curve, and this is the center line of the entire road, and this is the center line of the inner lane. Okay, so here is the curve like this. Okay, so this much is distance d. Okay, this much distance d. This is center line of entire road, center line of entire road, and this is center line of inner lane. Okay, and remaining all other things remain the same, that is this is r, and this one is the s. Now the radius will be up to this. Okay, radius r will be up to this one, radius will be considered up to the center line of the entire road. So this is b, this is a, here is point c, and this is the building. Okay, and this is point E, say this is point E. So this is the setback distance M, okay, which consists of this small t and this again extra additional distance. Okay, yes, so this is radius r, this is alpha by 2 over here, and again alpha by 2. Okay, so m is given by, here m is equal to ae equal to oa minus oe minus oe. Here ob equal to distance r, ob equal to r, so ob is equal to r, and m equal to ae equal to oa minus oe, and ob is r, so od od distance od, this is point d. Okay, so distance od equal to r minus d, so this is again, this is d, so this is also d. Okay, so od equal to ob minus d, that is equal to r minus d. Okay, so from triangle ode, from triangle ode, again the same thing, that is cos of alpha by 2 equal to OE upon OD, which is OE will be equal to R minus T cos of alpha by 2. Okay, so I hope you understood how we got OE. So what is required is M, and M is equal to OA minus OE. So what is OA? OA is R, therefore M equal to R minus T cos of alpha by 2, where alpha equal to, where alpha equal to, that we will discuss on the next page. Okay, see here I'll write, where alpha equal to S upon R minus T radians. It is very important, guys. Okay, here I have written the alpha equal to S upon R minus T. So I hope you are now understanding that this formula of setback distance is the same, exactly the same one as our previous one, except for this additional d that is been subtracted, which is the distance between the center line of the entire road and center line of the inner lane. Okay, and I hope that you also understood what is the reason for that. So I'll again clearly write down the formula for setback distances for multi-lane roads when length of the curve is greater than equal to length of the minimum required side distance for you all, that is m equal to r minus t cos of alpha by 2, where alpha by 2, where alpha equal to s upon r minus t. Please write down this formula very carefully. Okay. Okay. So in case of single lane roads, in single lane roads, in single lane roads, d equal to 0. Agreed? D equal to 0. Since there is only one road, since there is only one lane, the center line of the entire road and center line of the inner lane is one and the same. Okay. Therefore, m equal to r minus r cos of alpha by 2, and alpha equal to s upon r radian. Okay, so just putting the m equal to 0, we get the earlier formula that we already studied. Okay. Okay, guys, so note that in all the formulae, m is the distance from center line of entire road. Please write it down, very important, because later on you people make mistakes. I'll dictate now, so note that, note that in all the formulae, in all the formulae, m is the distance from, I'm writing it for you because you people make mistakes in exam, distance from center line of the entire road, center line of the entire road. Okay, in all the formulae, in all the formulae that we have already written. Okay, If the distance from center line of inner lane to the inner side obstruction is asked, then it is equal to, please write down, if the distance from center line of inner lane to this inner side obstruction, inner side obstruction is asked, then it is equal to m minus d, so you calculate the setback distance and then modify the answer accordingly as per the question that is been asked. And you know, for gate exam, for gate examination, for gate, such questions are very common, please write it down. Next time when you're reading this notebook, you should recall that for gate such kind of questions are asked, and in the gate examination you should not get fooled, okay, because of the slight trick that has been involved in the questions. Okay, so now we will go for the case 2, where length of the curve is less than the minimum required side distance. So again the formula will get modified in the similar manner. Therefore m equal to r minus d cos of alpha by 2, that is our original formula, plus s minus l by 2 sine of alpha by 2, sine alpha by 2. So the same thing, exactly the same thing, where alpha equal to s minus sorry, alpha equal to L upon r minus t. Okay, L upon r minus t radius. Therefore, for single lane roads with length of the curve less than the minimum required side distance, use d equal to 0. If you are using this formula, uh, just to check whether this formula is correct or not. Therefore, check it for single lane road with L less than the stopping side distance and d equal to 0, m equal to r minus r cos of alpha by 2 plus s minus l by 2 sine of alpha by 2. Okay, where alpha equal to L by r radian. So this our formula is correct. When you remove this d, it becomes this. When you remove this d, it becomes this. So what formula that we have written is absolutely right, and this is the way how you just check whether we are writing this such a lengthy formula rightly. If you understand these concepts and you understand these curves properly, then you really need not mug up this formula. And a step ahead of it will be, if you practice things really well, if you solve enough number of practice problems, then this will be just everything on tip of your tongue. Okay, and transportation engineering is one of the easiest subjects, okay, for gate examinations, and you should not take a chance to lose marks in this subject. Okay guys, and there is good weightage for transportation engineering. So we will take up now few numerical examples. So the first question is that, assuming the safe stopping side distance to be equal to 80 meter on a flat highway section. So here it is given that s equal to 80 meters on flat highway section, and with a setback distance of m equal to 10 meters, what should be the radius of negotiable horizontal curve? What should be the radius of negotiable horizontal curve? So please think in what direction you should go to solve this question. Okay guys. Okay, before going for this question, I have missed out some formulae. that is the approximate formula for setback distances. Please write it down. Approximate formula for setback distance. Okay, approximate formula. Similarly, again there are case 1 and case 2. Case 1 is length of the curve is greater than the side distance, and these formula are applicable for single lane road only. Okay, applicable for single lane road only. So whenever L is greater than S, M equal to S square upon 8R. Okay, and case 2 is when length of the curve is less than S. This is less than equal to, and therefore M equal to L twice of S minus L upon 8R. So these are the two approximate formulae, and the derivation and all is, I guess it is not there, but this is, you should hardly remember for GATE, I will say. But since this question was asked somewhere in engineering services examination IES 1996, uh, I need to tell you this formula. Otherwise, from GATE point of view, I guess GATE won't ask questions from the based on the concepts in which you will have to mug up any formula. Okay, so in this case, this can be solved. This question can be solved using approximate formula, especially while after looking at the data that is been provided. Okay, so assuming the single lane road here, let us assume, since the information is not given, assuming single lane road, and L greater than equal to S. So we will use this formula M equal to S square upon 8R. So M equal to S square upon 8R, which stands for 10 equal to S square, that is 80 square upon 8 into the R. So R equal to 80 meters, and which is option C. Okay, this is IES question, but GATE usually uh, doesn't ask such kind of question. It focuses on the rational questions where you will have to use some concept and not muck up the formula in this way. Okay, so now question number 2 is, there is a horizontal curve of radius r equal to 360 meters and length equal to 180 meters. Okay, uh, the clearance required from the center line of the inner side of the curve so as to provide SSD of 180 meters. SSD of 180 meters. The clearance required, that is M equal to what, from the center line of the inner side of the curve. Okay, so how to go about this question? So since nothing specified about number of lanes, we will consider the basic criteria, that is single lane road. Okay, single lane road, and here, as you can see, that length of the curve is greater than equal to the side distances. Okay, so we have got the formula that M equal to R minus R cos of alpha by 2, but we don't know the alpha value over here, so alpha equal to S upon R. Okay, so equal to 180 upon, sorry, S is, yes, 180 upon 360 in radians. We will get this value, but to get in degrees we will multiply it by 180 by pi, that is equal to 12.73 degrees. Okay, and just substitute the alpha value over here. So R is 360 minus 360 into cos of 12.73 by 2, that is equal to 2.22 meters. Okay, that is equal to 2.22 meters. is the setback distance required for the SSD of 180 meters. So now we will move on to question B, that is OSD equal to 250 meters. OSD equal to 250 meters. So here the S value is greater than the length of the road. So in problem B, S is greater than length of the road. So our formula for setback distance will have some additional term, that is R minus R cos of alpha by 2 plus L minus S, sorry, S minus L, since S is greater than S minus L by 2 sine of alpha by 2. So in this case, alpha equal to L by R into 180 by pi. So L is 180, radius is 360 into 180 by pi is equal to 28.64 degrees. So substitute these values over here in the formula to get m equal to 360 minus 360 cos of 28.64 by 2 plus 250 minus 180 by 2 sine of 28.64 by 2. Okay, so that is equal to 19.84 meters. 19.84 meters is the setback distance. Please understand 19.84. Okay, 19.84 meters is the setback distance. So let us now move on to the next question, that is, so let us take next question, that is previous GATE question, that is GATE 2004 exam question. Okay, so the question is that a horizontal curve with center line radius of 200 meters is provided on two-way road, two-way state highway section. The width of the two-lane road is 7 meters. Okay, design speed of for this section is 80 km per hour. So 80 kilometers per hour. The brake reaction time is 2.4 seconds. The reaction time is 2.4 seconds, and the coefficient of friction in longitudinal and lateral directions are 0.335, 0.335, and in lateral direction it is 0.15 respectively. The safe SSD on the section is, guys, looking at this value itself, you should say that it is longitudinal friction. Okay, coefficient of longitudinal friction. And looking at this value itself, you should say that it is coefficient of lateral friction. That is the reason I have not mentioned anything in the subscript that it is coefficient of longitudinal friction or it is coefficient of lateral friction. So it is to be understood by you yourself by this time. Okay, so first question is that they are asking what is the safe SSD on this section. So it is two-lane two-way road. So for two-lane two-way road, safe SSD equal to tell me this, what is the value of safe SSD? Safe SSD is equal to SSD itself on two-lane two-way road. Okay, but it is equal to twice of SSD on one-lane two-way road. You should be by now in position to tell this value very easily. Okay, so it is not the setback distance problem, guys. So here we are supposed to find out the SSD. So SSD is given by formula Vt plus V square upon 2gf. Vt plus V square upon 2gf. So V, that is the capital V, should be converted into small v, that is into meter per second. So small v equal to 80 into 5 by 18 meters per second, which is equal to 22.22 meters per second. Okay, so just substitute the values. 22.22, the brake reaction time is 2.4 seconds. Okay, and plus 22.22 22 square upon 2 into 9.81 into F. Now which friction you will consider over here, longitudinal or lateral? Tell me. You should consider the longitudinal friction over here because it is the longitudinal motion. So the self SSD is equal to 124.21 meters, which is equal to the safe SSD. SSD is 124.21, which is equal to safe SSD. So the answer is around 125 meters. So now we will take up the second question, that is the question that is based on the setback distance from the center line of the inner lane. Okay, what is the setback distance from the center line of the inner lane? Okay, so I need this data actually, but let us take on the next slide. That is m equal to what? What is the setback distance? It is given that s equal to s equal to 125 meters. Not given that we have calculated s equal to 125 meters. Actually, we calculated it to be 124.21 meters, but let us consider it 125 meters, and length is not known. Okay, not known. Hence, let's assume the basic case that s is less than l. Okay, s is less than equal to l, so that the setback distance m equal to r minus d cos of alpha by 2, r minus d cos of alpha by 2. We know that r equal to 200 minus d. What is d? So this is our road, two-way road, and this is the median. Okay, this is the center line. Fine. So they have given that width of the road is 7 meters. So this distance d will be equal to 7 by 4, that is equal to 1 by 75 meters. 1 by 75 meters. So 200 minus 1.75 into cos of alpha by 2. Now we need to calculate alpha, and alpha is given as s upon r minus t into 180 by pi. 180 by pi, that is equal to 125 upon radius. The r is 200 minus 1.75 into 180 by pi, that is equal to 36.12 degrees. So cos of 36.12 by 2, which is equal to 11.5 meters. Okay, so the question asked is, what is the question asked? Please check. The setback distance from center line of the inner lane. so what we have calculated is the setback distance from center line of the entire road. Please understand this. What we have calculated is setback distance from center line of the entire road, but this is not required. What is required in the question is the setback distance from center line of the inner lane. So I discussed in the class that setback distance m from center line of inner lane equal to m minus t, that is equal to 11.5 minus 1.75, that is equal to 9.75 meters. So there were many students who solved this question completely up to here 11.5, and there is option A. Option A is the options given here are the options. I'll write the options over here. That first option is 11.5 meters. Option B is 8.10 meters. Option C is 9.60 meters, and option D is 9.75 meters. Okay, so there are many students who calculated this answer as 11.5 meters and they immediately went on to take option A. But the right answer to this question is option D. Okay, and that is 9.75 meters, option D. So this is the way how GATE fools us, fools you, fools the students. So you have to be very careful. And nowadays, the thing is that GATE has started with numerical type questions that GATE you will have to enter the answer and options will not be given. Okay. So there is chance that in such kind of questions, the tricks involved are a bit less. But whenever question is very simple, like it is like this question, a very straightforward question, okay, and also the options are given in the GATE examination, then that means you have to check the answer once again, and you have to ensure that you are not making any mistake, and you are taking care of all the tricks that have been asked, that is been involved in the question. So whenever the options are given, it is very dangerous question, and you get tempted towards hitting the this one, but which is wrong. Okay, so you should have gone for this answer. Okay, so guys, thank you so much.